Welcome back to another episode of Invest in Quinte West. I'm your host, Luisa Sorrentino, the Economic Development Officer for the City of Quinte West, and I am thrilled to have you with us today. Whether you're an EDO like me, an industry business leader, or an entrepreneur, get ready for a captivating journey into Invest in Quinte West, where we explore the dynamic world of economic development within the Quinte West region and beyond. In each episode, we aim to inform, inspire, and connect our community with the driving forces shaping our economic landscape. In today's episode, when we talk about economic development, we usually talk about tax incentives, infrastructure, and workforce. But there's a silent partner in business continuity that often flies under the radar until it's needed the most: safety and resilience. A single major fire can devastate a local business, its employees, and the broader local economy. That is why proactive fire prevention is actually one of the smartest economic tools we have. Joining us in the studio today is a man who knows exactly what it takes to protect lives and assets under the most extreme conditions. David Wheeler is the Senior Fire Prevention Officer for the City of Quinte West. Now, David isn't your average inspector. He's been a firefighter for 25 years and his career reads like an adventure novel. He served as a Canadian Forces firefighter, working as both airport and structural specialist. His duties have taken him to the Arctic, overseas to the war-torn countries, and even onto the decks of His Majesty's Canadian warships. Today, he brings his world-class, high-stakes perspective right here to Quinte West to help our businesses thrive securely. In this episode, David and I are diving deep into how fire and life safety inspections serve as a shield for your business capital and brand reputation. We're going to discuss practical tips on how business managers can ace unexpected inspections with zero disruptions to daily sales, and how our economic development teams works hand in hand with fire services as Quinte West rapidly grows towards 50,000 residents. Plus, we'll break down what the major new January 1st, 2026 Ontario Fire Code updates regarding carbon monoxide mean for the mixed-use property owners, and how staying compliant actually preserves your long-term real estate value. So whether you're a new startup founder trying to navigate safely layouts, or an established commercial landlord, this episode is packed with insights on why a safe city is a highly profitable, investable city. But first, if this podcast is hitting the sweet spot for you, here is a quick friendly nudge. Please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your support truly makes our day and helps Invest in Quinte West find its way to more curious minds. Also, if there is someone you're just dying to hear on the show, or a topic you'd love us to explore, drop us a line at economicdevelopment@quintewest.ca. All right, let's get started. Get ready to be entertained, informed, and inspired. This is Invest in Quinte West. All right, let's get started. David, the City of Quinte West is proud of its strong and vibrant and diverse economic base. From an economic development perspective, a single major fire can devastate a local business and its employees. How did this proactive fire and life safety inspections serve as a tool for long-term business continuity and risk mitigation for our local commercial sectors?
I believe with the inspections that we're now conducting, if we can stop the fires happening before they actually start, then obviously that's what the prevention officer tries to do. But if we do have a larger fires, it does affect so many businesses and employers. So the whole point of the inspections of all these businesses is to stop the fire before it begins.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and you noted that your goal is to work alongside the businesses to ensure that their space is safe. Can you please tell us a little bit more of how do you achieve that and how do you work together with the business owners?
Yeah, of course. So as a fire prevention officer, we kind of have three core roles that we go through: code enforcement and inspections, public education and community risk reduction, and origin and cause investigation, which is just is basic fire investigation. But what we want to do is work with the community business owners We do have tools as a prevention officer to enforce the rules, but we would rather do it face-to-face by getting these businesses up. Of course, we do have the authority to ticket and to, go as far as charging a business for unsafe acts. So if we're working together right now, I guess we kind of good word is a little bit of an immunity. We want to go into businesses, even if there's fire code infractions, we can get them repaired. No fines, no charges. Let's just get these businesses up to snuff, continue on with a safe environment, for all businesses, communities, and the people that visit them.
Yeah, so, really, it's a no-brainer. People should your phone should be blowing up right now.
It is, but sometimes it just comes down to some business owners, they don't know, and we're obviously there to educate. And we want to educate, we want to teach, we want to do it as friendly and as possible as we go. But as some businesses do continue where they're putting themselves at risk, their employees at risk, so people that visit the business, of course, we have the tools to enforce, but we would rather work with them to get it all
absolutely
up to snuff first.
And be prepared.
That's correct.
And because these inspections are also tied to ongoing licensing and compliance, it is important for them to schedule in advance, but that may or may not be possible, right? So, meaning that the officers may also visit during regular operating hours. What is your advice to businesses and managers and how to keep the records so that they are prepared and, they have an organization, so to speak, behind it so that the inspection causes minimal disruption to their sales or their customer service or their daily operations?
Yeah, and that's a great point. Some businesses require hard licensing rules, liquor licenses, daycare licenses, so on and so on. But once the company has been up for a while and organized themselves, we're kind of enforcing to make sure that it does continually stay safe.
Mm-hmm. So how often do you require these inspections?
So we had a fire master plan. It was brought to our attention in our office that the frequency of inspections from the fire marshal office, we could do a little bit better and a little bit more effective scheduling and conducting the inspections a little bit more. So at the end of this year, we'll give me a little bit of a year to figure out this whole program. We'll decide on how the inspections go on the frequency right now.
Okay.
Generally, a lot of businesses will be 1 year, depending on what they are, 2 and 3 years, up to that. We're going to make an educated decision at the end of this year, revamp, change all of our numbers, and see what's the most effective way of doing this. And hopefully, all the inspections will go easy. Will be minimal repairs, education, and then go from there.
Yeah, once they know, they can plan for it, and they can make sure that that relationship is fostered too. I think that's an important part of conducting business in a small community, is creating those relationships with, say, the fire officer, whether it's the health unit or all the other people that are allowing for their business to exist. So I have a follow-up question. So say I am someone who owns a business downtown. I've never done this before. It's the first time. I just opened my business. What do I do? Who do I contact?
Obviously, it will depend on the type of business that you're going, but we get a lot of brand new business owners, that call us and say, I'm new, what do I do? And it's so fantastic because we're starting off on the right foot with these people. We have to have these inspections done and you should get this done and you get this done. And they have it all done before the business opens and they've been educated from the beginning. So they always stay on top of what's required of them. As a local business, for us to make our life a lot easier, like you said, on the schedule. The larger companies that have massive employees and thousands of square foot obviously takes us a lot longer. So we schedule those ones. But the smaller business in between, it's extremely hard to do the small inspections. So under the fire code, we can stop in without giving any heads up, which if we can give heads up, we absolutely will. But the businesses to be ready for us, if we just show up, is having your records ready. In the Ontario Fire Code, it is law that you have to have 2 years worth of records. We're talking your smoke alarms, your alarm systems, your sprinkler systems, your emergency lighting systems. All these records by law is supposed to be 2 years worth of records in your business. So if they're there and we're not looking for them, that speeds up the inspections so much faster. But what we've noticed with a lot of our inspections that we're going, we phone, we book an appointment, or we do a drop-in. Well, they say, well, you guys have already been there. And we've ran into this with several businesses in the town. Some of these business owners are getting mixed up with companies that are doing maintenance, fire extinguishers, sprinklers, all these systems. They're not doing inspections. They're doing maintenance. Now, the inspectors with the white shirts and the badges that saying they're fire prevention officers
Yes.
are actually doing a formal fire investigation. So there's a little bit of confusion between the businesses on what maintenance is and what fire inspections are done. And all businesses in Quinte West that have been issued a business license and it does say in their licensing, inspectors can come through, health departments, bylaws, building department, fire. So we are mandated through the licensing of the city to do these inspections. And I know it's new to a lot of businesses. They're not too comfortable, but we'll be out there and with smiling faces, and we'll be there to help.
Mm-hmm. Of course. And I mean, at the end of the day, fire prevention benefits everyone.
It absolutely does.
For the cities, for the businesses, for the consumer, everyone benefits from that. So I understand that perhaps, a business owner may have other priorities for that day or may have planned a day to do other things. But this should definitely be on the radar.
And for sure. And my team is extremely polite. If there's something going on, we are not going to interfere in that. We're going to go through normal business hours. And if you're just too busy for us to do it, then, we will reschedule for them. So we are trying to cater to make life easy for everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that having fire prevention officer in a building does, so say, for instance, is a high traffic business, or, we're in tourism season. Say we're in tourism season and there's an inspection targeting high traffic area, like liquor licensed establishments or a restaurant. And, there's this visible fire code compliance that is happening in that moment. Do you think that elevates the customer confidence for both visitors, tourists, and local residences?
I think that goes both ways. Sometimes people are a little bit nervous with a white shirt going on. They don't know their rights, and we're not talking as far as rights, but they don't necessarily know what they maybe should be doing, so they're maybe a little bit nervous. But like I say, my whole team is nothing but friendly. All we want to do is educate and make sure all businesses are up to a safe standard for everybody.
Yeah, that's a great message to put out there, is that these guys are really approachable. David and his friendly team are there to help and to make sure that you're safe and you work and you welcome visitors in a safe environment. They're very approachable, and they will help you with making your business, again, elevate even your consumer confidence in your business. Now, let's talk about the cost. Let's talk about money.
Yeah.
That's what everyone wants to know.
For sure.
Let's go right to the point. So the inspection fee applies on a sliding scale from $90 to about $200?
About $190 should be the most.
Okay.
Should be the most for these inspections.
So, I mean, this is not an operational tax, but really, it is an investment in protecting your physical assets, your capital, your inventory, your brand reputation. So I think it's important for us to send that message out to our listeners too, in terms of not seeing this as, again, here we go, another money grab or another tax or anything like that. Actually, we're deploying resources. We're deploying highly trained individuals that are there to help you. Again, very cost-effective investment. Yeah. You're spending $100 to save all that you've invested, your capital, your inventory, your building, your brand. So, I mean, what else do you want?
So on that point,
yes.
God forbid anything happens, but if fire happened at your house, fire department's going to be there. You're going to see 10 trucks there. You're going to see 100 firefighters. They're going to put out your house, and everything is going to be great. And you're not going to get a bill. But when it comes to the inspection and the prevention portion of it, there is a certain cost that is there above and beyond the suppression of firefighting. So that's why there is a bill, because it does cost money for us to do our job. Mm-hmm. Now, having said that, an inspection, and again, this goes back to the enforcement thing, inspection costs the average of $90. Mm-hmm. If one of my inspectors went into a business and, say, for example, a smoke alarm was broken, it wasn't down, it was expired, that's a $360 fine from the fire marshal. That's dedicated for the fire marshal's office. So if these inspections are costing $90 to people, but we're saving them thousands of dollars in infractions of the fire code in a couple of years from now, that's the word that we want to get out.
Yes.
So,
and again, saving lives potentially. So that's
of course
priceless.
And that's the thing with this job. We do fire prevention. We'll never know how many people we helped.
It's that's right. Yeah.
We'll just never know.
You can't count that. You just
that's
do
right.
what you do. And yeah, exactly. And, again, we're very privileged to live in a place where we have the ability to provide those services for citizens and businesses and whatnot. So to have that service delivered for a very small fee, again, no-brainer, should definitely be something on the radar of every business owner, entrepreneur, or anyone that is involved, or even an employee too. They can bring it up to the business owner attention,
and that's how a lot of these things come across. We just kind of follow under complaints. We might have an employee that's not happy with the employer, so they may put a complaint in, and by law we have to follow up on all complaints. So if we can avoid all these stuff and complaints don't come in, then that's kind of going to help the whole circle all the way around.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, exactly. And so tell me a little bit more about this major updates that have happened here for the Ontario Fire Code regarding the carbon monoxide having taken effect January 1st of 2026. There seems to be new rules regarding alarms and heated corridors.
There certainly is. So the fire codes change depending on situations that happen in Ontario. So there could be a major fire. It can involve fatalities, which is exactly what happened when the Ontario Fire Marshal's office changed to every floor had to have smoke alarms. Back in the olden days, you had a smoke alarm by the bedroom, and that was it. That rule changed. Now you need a smoke alarm on every room. And we do find it's a little bit about time with the Fire Marshal office dictating you do require carbon monoxide alarm on every floor now. Up until January of this year, you required it in the hallway by the bedrooms. And now if you had a bedroom on another floor, then you would require carbon monoxide alarm on that floor. But now it's a blanket statement right across. So every floor, as of January of this year, requires a carbon monoxide alarm on every floor, including floors that aren't being slept in. Attics, basements, that kind of stuff, they still require a carbon monoxide alarm. And we all know it's the silent killer. It's tasteless. There's no smell to it. And a lot of the times, a carbon monoxide leak, they find out through symptoms, which is extremely dangerous. So it's a good change that the Ontario government did. And it will be enforced. So we want to get this word out. We want people to have carbon monoxide alarms on every floor of their residential houses. Landlords, that is their responsibility to ensure, as of January 1st, to start having carbon monoxides in every alarm of their rental properties.
I'm not 100% familiar with those little devices, but I think now they come combined. The smoke detector and the carbon monoxide. Is that correct?
That is correct. So you can buy a carbon monoxide alarm by itself, a smoke alarm by itself. We don't sell anything at the fire department. We just have to support it.
Yeah.
So we love to see, especially when it comes to landlords, is a carbon monoxide, a smoke alarm with a 10-year built-in lithium battery backup.
Okay.
And then if it is hardwired, on top of that, then you have it hardwired in there, which means the only thing you have to do is press that button every month to test it to make sure it works. And in 10 years, you replace it. It's as simple as that. It's a great system. And we do like to promote the combinations. Now, not all houses do require carbon monoxide alarms. So houses that have gas burning appliances, has an attached garage, burning wood, propane, requires carbon monoxide. But if you do not have a garage in your house, you do not have any fuel burning appliances, so that example would be you have electric heat, you actually do not require a carbon monoxide alarm.
Okay.
It's everything else that I stated before requires carbon monoxide alarms
Are
on every
there
floor.
other things that could cause a carbon monoxide poisoning?
There could be. And again, that goes back to those rules. So, for example, you're running a car in a garage. That carbon monoxide could get into the house. The obvious ones would be furnaces or gas water heaters. They're the biggest culprits of our carbon monoxide alarms. So it's a great bit of advice to get your appliances inspected annually if you can. Furnaces, your hot water tanks that are run by gas. Make sure your chimney is cleaned every year. Make sure you have a wet inspection if required on your wood burning appliances. All these other things will avoid these carbon monoxide leaks. And again, to reiterate, it is the silent killer.
Yes. So would people just connect with you even if I don't have a business, but I'm just someone who's a homeowner and, connect with your department
Absolutely.
And get an inspection done?
Station 1 headquarters is where the fire prevention team works out of. Even we have 7 stations across Quinte West, but number 1 is the headquarters. That's where the prevention team is. You guys can call anytime, any questions, whether you're not sure, whether you do this, call us anytime and we'll get you on the right track.
Okay, that's awesome. Yes, definitely something that I think sometimes we take for granted too, right? We just get busy with our lives and, do the necessary things that we need to do every day. But there are certain things that need inspection that could have potentially made a big difference and saved lives, right?
Absolutely. We have 19,000 structures in Quinte West. So if we can get them all up to snuff, then we will be laughing.
And so also, Quinte West is a rapidly growing community, right?
Certainly is.
Almost 50,000 residents. And as new commercial spaces are opening up across our 7 fire station zones that you just mentioned, how does the Fire Prevention Office coordinate with the local departments or our department, even with the planning team, economic development, to ensure that the new commercial buildings are emergency ready from day one?
So a lot of the stuff, the fire department, the prevention team will continue on the maintenance and stuff. We have a fantastic building department here in Quinte West, and on their final inspections and through their inspection, through the plans, through the architects, all these prevention equipment is in place. And they're not going to pass inspections from our building department if they're not all in place.
Okay, so it's the building inspector that checks that.
That's right.
Okay,
Yep.
Excellent. Yes.
And then we make sure it's being kept up. Essentially, that's the way it works. We do get phone calls saying, "I want to build this. I need a separation here. How do I do the separation?" We don't comment on the construction part. The building department is the subject matter experts when it comes to the building code, with the fire code, of course. There is a section in the building code that strictly deals with fire. They make sure it's all good to go on their inspections and the architects and so on. We enforce it to make sure that it's being maintained.
Okay, perfect. And navigating all the fire safety plans, the sprinkler systems, emergency lighting can be kind of overwhelming for a resident, let alone for a new startup founder. So aside from calling the department directly, what other public education resources, can they access, or do you have anything planned or scheduled in terms of those training or education opportunity for people to help regular people or business owners understand a little bit better?
Yeah, when you're building a business, you have a million things that you got to worry about. That may or may not be on the top of someone's head when it comes to their priorities starting a business, especially if a building is you're now taking over a building and that building was a pre-existing
Yes.
building. A lot of the homeowners will call the fire department and say, "What should I do? What do I need?" But there's also a lot of other fantastic resources out there. A lot of these companies, these fire protection companies, are very educated in the fire code. They will go to a building and they will say, "Well, you require this, that, and the other thing."
Okay.
So these guys have a great idea of what's required to keep that building up to a fire code standard. So that's a great resource. Landlords, and I really ask that they do this, is get into the Landlord Tenancy Act. That tells them their responsibilities. It tells them what they should do, and from there, that's almost their enforcement tool. That this is what they have to, essentially what they have to do as a responsible landlord.
Yes.
Because a lot of these issues, not to reiterate on the enforcement portion, if we went into someone's apartment and the smoke alarm is down, technically we can ticket both people, the landlord and the tenant. Now, obviously, everyone's not perfect in this world, and we have these, troubled landlords or we have troubled tenants. A lot of the landlords, if they did want to contact the fire department, if you had an issue with a tenant that keeps taking down his smoke alarms, because, we've seen smoke alarm batteries taken out so they can put into a kid's remote control car, So we get a little bit,
And then they forget.
And then they forget, and now you have no protection. So if you are having issues with that, you can contact the fire department. We can issue a letter, and this letter is showing that you've now put this smoke alarm, this carbon monoxide alarm, you photographed it. Everybody signed it. The tenant and the landlord signed it. And now if we walk in and the battery is missing or the smoke alarm is missing, we can just ticket the tenant as opposed to the landlord. So that does not stop the landlord from having to go into their apartments at least once a year to test that smoke alarm, change the batteries, make sure it works, and that they're not expired. Because always that little tidbit I like to put out, carbon monoxide and smoke alarms they're pretty much the same now. They're good for 10 years. They should be tested monthly, and the battery should be changed every year.
And so when the landlord has to do this inspection and or change batteries and all of that, do they need something from you to tell the tenant, hey, I need to come because of this reason?
With tenants' rules under the Tenancy Act, they have to give their tenants 24 hours notice. So most of the tenants, they'll put up a sign or do emails or however they want to do it, saying that we're going to be doing a fire inspection. So they're going to go in to test the smoke alarms, change the batteries, ensure that they're not expired. Now, we do not require 24 hours notice. We can do a stop-in under health and safety, under the fire code. We do not. Of course, we're not going to show up at 3 a.m.
Yes,
hopefully.
Of course.
But
but
I mean, we do not have to follow those rules. So the good landlords will give you the 24 hours heads up, and we're coming through to test the smoke alarms. So make sure you don't take your smoke alarms off. Don't take the batteries out to put in your kids' toys. Now, at the end of the year, what I'd like to do, because it is, it's monetary. There's money. When you change the battery every year, there's a good chance that battery will still be good. So just then you put it in the toys and you replace the smoke alarm with a brand new fresh battery and know you're 100% safe for at least a year until you change it again.
Yes. Well, your life is more important than a battery-operated little car.
Absolutely.
And listen, just in wrapping up, I'm just going to ask you our last question here for today. And again, regular inspections play an important role in preventing emergencies and protecting employees, customers, and the business property. Ultimately, a safe city is an attractive city also for external investment. And this is an important point for me because that's what I do for work, trying to attract new investment to the city. Yeah. So how do these rigorous safety standards and proactive measures collectively build a reputation for Quinte West as a highly secure, resilient, and business-friendly municipality to invest in? In other words, what is it that about this program why is this important for people, and why should they come to Quinte West so that they can also benefit from all the infrastructure that we have in place to help business owners?
Yeah, that's just a big question. Hopefully I can answer that. Well, first off, Quinte West is a beautiful place to live. I was lucky. I was in the military. I got stationed here. My wife and I fell in love with the area. I believe I won the lottery getting this fantastic job with the city. I believe if we can do our job with the fire department, and we didn't have a reputation when there's lots of fires there, or one business catches on fire and catches 5 of them on fire, which is obviously the worst case scenario. We don't want any of that bad press. We want it to be a safe environment. Nobody likes to have a fire, and I think with this prevention program that we have, every business that keeps up to the fire code standards will protect the business beside them as well. And I do believe, I do believe we can make this town safer, and we're certainly trying. But we are a very lucky fire department here. We're well equipped. We have a very proactive command team. We have great counsel, and the mayor is a huge supporter of the fire department. This is a great place to live and a great place to work. We're very lucky in Quinte West.
And thank you. I say, that was very profound. So you're basically saying through the program too, you're not only protecting your investment, you're also protecting your neighbor's investment. So it does always go back to community. Every time I do an episode, David, I find that this is actually the secret sauce of the area, of the Bay of Quinte area, is we all want to work together. Everyone wants everybody else to succeed. And sometimes people are selfless, but they would rather do it for others. So if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for your neighbor, do it for the community, and get on with the program.
That's great synopsis.
Yes, that's what I would say. So, David, before we wrap up, where can people connect with you? Like, can you tell us the phone number if you remember it, or an email address, that like a generic email address that people can email, or where, the address of where they would find you guys?
So we have a website, fireprevention@quintewest.ca, and that's a generic email that will come to all inspectors. And from there, then we'll contact you back as soon as we can. We've been a little bit busier, but we will get back to you as soon as we can. And obviously, if there's a complaint, there's a fire code infraction, that will be prioritized to sending inspectors out to ensure your needs have been met. But you can do that. You can call Station 1 headquarters we're at 49 Dixon Drive in Trenton. That's the headquarters. You can stop in, ask the officer. Even our suppression team is a bunch of fantastic people. They know, maybe not all the more intricate stuff, but they know the basics. They can answer the questions, and if they can't, they'll contact me or my team, and we'll find the answers for you. So
that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you get a lot of people calling you even more, thanks to listening to the podcast. And in the meantime, arrivederci and have a good night.
Thank you for everything. Appreciate your time.
And that wraps up the episode of Invest in Quinte West. We hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as we did. If you have any thoughts, questions, or just want to say hello, we would love to hear from you. Remember, you can always catch up on previous episodes and stay connected with us on social media. Find us on social media with our handle @QuinteWest on Facebook, X, and YouTube, and City of Quinte West on Instagram and LinkedIn. Join the Invest in Quinte West community and get updates on new episodes. Before we say goodbye, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your podcast platform. Your feedback helps us improve and brings more amazing content to your ears. Stay curious, stay inspired, and until next time, this is Luisa Sorrentino signing off from Invest in Quinte West. Take care. Arrivederci.